Good evening and welcome to KiniNews. Some politicians will do anything to win an election, and for others, it's about staying true to their principles. In Malacca, DAP and Tien Chua don't appear to be on the same page.
PKR Vice President Tien Chua urged Pakatan Harapan to work with whoever is capable of helping them achieve victory in Malacca. However, this call didn't sit well with DAP. The party's National Organizing Secretary Anthony Loke said the call was Tien Chua's personal opinion. He also said DAP's position had been made loud and clear at the Harapan Presidential Council meeting last night. In a statement, the lawmaker also said Harapan must reject traitors. Tensions have been rising in Harapan after PKR indicated it was considering fielding 4 incumbent assembly persons led by former Malacca Chief Minister Idris Harun, who were previously with BN and Pakatan Nasional. However, speaking to reporters last night, PKR President Anwar Ibrahim said there is no rush to offer the 4 independents a place in Harapan.
They have not officially submitted, although they did express their intention to be part of this. So we'll just wait. We do not want to preempt and give them time and give this sort of opportunity to engage first.
After almost a day since the Harapan Presidential Council meeting, we finally know where the coalition stands. It's either they forgot to send out the press release, or it took them that long to just make up their minds. Pakatan Harapan has decided that incumbent State Assembly person Norhizam Hassan Baktee will not be a candidate for the coalition in the Malacca state polls. This was decided by the coalition's Presidential Council yesterday. However, the statement was only issued 23 hours later today. Norhizam's defection from DAP last year had in part contributed to the Harapan-led Malacca government downfall. He is among 4 assembly persons led by former Chief Minister Idris Harun, who later toppled the BN-led state government and are now hoping to become Harapan candidates. This comes after DAP's outright rejection of Norhizam. Now that more and more people are returning to their lifestyles as it was before COVID-19, many are returning to the habit of smoking at eateries too, but not on Khairi Jamaluddin's watch.
Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin has instructed health officers to find those violating the ban on smoking at all eateries. He said officers can monitor smokers while carrying out enforcement of COVID-19 prevention SOPs. In a tweet today, Khairi said the ban was a good policy introduced by the then Harapan administration under former Health Minister Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad. The smoking ban at public eateries came into force on January 1st, 2020, with offenders facing a maximum compound of 350 ringgit. With the enforcement of the smoking ban, all public eateries have been gazetted as a no-smoking area under the Control of Tobacco Products Regulations 2018 of the Food Act 1983.
Anthony Loke isn't the only Harapan MP who is against the idea of working with Norhizam and the gang. More Pakatan Harapan lawmakers have come out firmly against the idea of fielding the 4 Malacca assembly persons who recently defected. This includes Klang MP Charles Santiago and Kota Malacca MP Khoo Pui Tiong. Santiago said the wishes of the 4, led by former Chief Minister Idris Harun, to contest the state election under Harapan should not be entertained. In response to PKR Vice President Tien Chua, who called on Harapan to consider doing whatever was needed to secure a victory, Santiago said that it was not always about winning but a matter of principles too. He also said the 4 politicians defected for their own vested interests, triggering the collapse of the BN-led government, and there is no guarantee that they will not jump parties again. He added that defections have resulted in 3 prime ministers in the span of 3 years, and this has weakened an already battered economy because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Khoo said no state government can function effectively if it comprises disloyal figures such as Norhizam Hassan Baktee and his newfound friends. He said empowering political traitors will have serious implications on the upcoming state government that will be formed after the election. After the break, we heard about Harapan's plans for Malacca, but what about Pakatan Nasional's? Find out how they're going to play their cards after a word from our sponsor.
Shellfish, red meat, and beer. If you love indulging in these foods, you may end up with high uric acid level in your blood. These foods consist high level of purine, a substance that will eventually break down into uric acid and be excreted through our urine. It is recommended that the amount of dietary purines should be kept between 600 to 1000 milligrams per day. Having too much uric acid in your blood can cause attacks of gout. It can also cause kidney stones and blockage in the kidney. The crystallization of the excessive uric acid in your blood can be eased by reducing purine-rich food to only 100 to 150 milligrams daily, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and consuming urinary alkalinizer like Ural. It consists of sodium bicarbonate, citric acid, and sodium citrate that increases the urinary pH and solubility of uric acid to prevent crystallization. Best of all, it's lemon-flavored and sugar-free. Ural, effective urinary alkalinizer. Neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Welcome back. With Pakatan Harapan finally making up their minds, over at Barisan Nasional and Perikatan Nasional, it is still unclear if they will be working together or not in Malacca.
Pakatan National Chief Muhyiddin Yassin said the coalition is ready to face off with BN in the upcoming Malacca state election. He said the two coalitions are set to clash if there is no clear signal from BN on cooperation.
Bahawa kami bersedia untuk bekerjasama. Persoalan yang berbangkit apakah pihak yang sebelah sana bersedia ataupun tidak. Jadi kita tidak dapat satu jawapan yang tegas dan jelas. Saya sebutkan kalau tidak ada syarat yang jelas, kita akan pursue ikut keputusan yang telah dibuat oleh Perikatan Nasional Kebangsaan. Dan parti-parti dalam itu pun iaitu Bersatu, PAS dan Gerakan juga bersetuju. Kalau kita perlu berhadapan dengan 3 penjuru, kita bersedia hadapi.
UMNO and BN's cooperation with other parties in the Malacca snap polls is expected to be decided next week. UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the matter would be discussed at meetings involving the Political Bureau, UMNO Supreme Council and the BN Supreme Council.
Najib and his son may not have to worry about their massive tax bill for the time being. Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak and his son Muhammad Nazifuddin have been granted an interim stay of the summary judgment for them to pay more than 1.7 billion ringgit in tax arrears pending their leave to appeal at the federal court. The 3-member bench of the Court of Appeal led by Judge Aziza Nawawi granted the stay after hearing submissions by Counsel Muhammad Shafi Abdullah representing Najib and Nazifuddin and also the IRB Deputy Solicitor Dr. Hazlina Hussain. The judges found that there were special circumstances that warranted the court to exercise their discretion to allow an interim of stay of the execution of summary judgment in both applications. Earlier, Shafi submitted that there were special circumstances for a stay to be granted. He said there would be a trail of repercussions, such as Najib losing his position as MP and would no longer be able to contest in any elections if he was declared bankrupt. He also argued that there was bad faith conducted on part of the government to declare Najib bankrupt, as there were clear errors in the additional assessments. On the 22nd of July last year, the High Court allowed the IRB's application for a summary judgment to be entered against Najib in its suit to recover the 1.69 billion ringgit in taxes from the latter for the period between 2011 and 2017. On the 4th of February this year, the IRB issued a bankruptcy notice against Najib for his failure to pay the amount as the summary judgment was not stayed, while Nazifuddin was also served with a bankruptcy notice on the 30th of April this year over failure to pay the amount as ordered by the High Court. Najib and Nazifuddin subsequently filed separate notices of motion on September 14th this year to the federal court, seeking leave to appeal against the Court of Appeal's decision in dismissing their appeals. So the former PM may not have to worry about his tax bill for now, but he may still have to worry about his passport.
Najib Abdul Razak will find out tomorrow whether he will be allowed to travel to Singapore to support his daughter Noriana Najwa, who is expecting to give birth there. This is because under the law, an accused person who wishes to apply for the temporary release of his passport but has pending criminal cases before multiple criminal jurisdiction courts needs to make and have his applications heard before the various judges. So far, the Court of Appeal allowed the former Prime Minister's temporary passport release application. Tomorrow, 3 different benches of the Kuala Lumpur High Court are set to hear Najib's application. Besides his 42 million ringgit SRC international corruption case, which he had been convicted and sentenced for, but is in the process of appealing, Najib also has 3 other pending criminal cases before separate Kuala Lumpur High Court judges.
Even for Malaysia's beloved Olympic medalist, sexual harassment is still something they cannot escape from, as Pandalela revealed.
Two-time Olympic medalist Pandalela Rinong has revealed that one of her former coaches, who used to make lewd jokes, ended up being involved in a rape case 7 years later. This came amid a recent outrage on social media over rape jokes allegedly made on a local talk show by actors. The national diver said the man would cause trouble every year throughout these 7 years, but the athletes were unable to do anything about it because the man had backing from their head coach. However, Pandalela considered the athletes very lucky as they had been protected by their sports association. Health Minister Kari Jamaluddin also joined in the conversation on Twitter by thanking Pandalela for speaking out. Meanwhile, Astro Warna has apologized following the controversy of a video clip from one of its programs that received great criticism after narrating a rape scene in a movie. The apology came after a video clip featuring actor Fauzi Nawawi, who recounted his experience of acting in a rape scene with actress Raja Farah, was spread on social media.
That's a wrap for Kini News this evening. For more stories, go to KiniTV.com. Don't forget that you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook to get the latest headlines as well. If you'd like to support the independent media, please do consider a subscription to MalaysiaKini.com. If you're heading out, don't forget your mask, and when you can, please try to stay home. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe, Malaysia.